My cat has pounced on me multiple times. It's a great way to wake up. Sometimes he pounces and that's it. Time to meditate for when I finish this, I generally meditate for another hour to 2 hours and we go deep together. But then sometimes he's just not ready yet. He's too restless. I can relate. Anyway, if you haven't been there this week, welcome. This week so far, welcome. And the topic this week is the absolutely insane spiritual missive that says, "Blessed are those who are persecuted." It's so crazy. It's so radical. It's such a revolutionary kind of teaching to say that I am blessed and you're blessed. And on this planet, we're all blessed when we are undergoing persecutions, these revilings of our being, that it's actually a blessed and fortunate condition. Why might that be the case? Well, we're looking at it. We're thinking about it. Why is that actually the case? And there's one line in a great world scripture. It says, "We are people who could not differentiate the true from the false." It's a little line. A lot of people don't notice. A lot of people have skipped by it. For me, it's like one of the most impactful lines. The first time I read that line of scripture, it was just another throwaway line that was obviously installed to either annoy me or distract me. But as I've thought about it over the years, being a person who could not differentiate the true from the false is actually a tremendously significant thing. In some world scripture, and some great spiritual masters have referred to the devil, so to speak, as a liar or the adversary. In the Eastern traditions, Hinduism, Buddhism, oftentimes whatever is considered to be the devil is called Maya, M-A-Y-A, delusion. In other words, something that's lying to us, something that's giving us false information rather than true information. Well, maybe this is one of the most significant and tremendous things that can ever happen inside of us, is when we actually can begin to differentiate the true from the false. Maybe it's tremendously significant when this thing called a conscience becomes active inside of us and is giving us moment to moment course correction as to what we're doing is either true or false. Well, this is a tremendous thing because I don't know if you've been paying attention, but there's a large movement in the world that says there really is nothing true, and truth is just whatever we make up in the moment. It's a philosophical movement called postmodernism, and it posits that the only thing that's true is what we make true. Fascinating point of view, but is that true? So we all have to, goodness gracious, that's a large mosquito hawk. Boy, that got my nervous system going. Now I'm even more motivated. Now, can we differentiate the true from the false? Well, what is the true? Well, maybe there are actually some people who think everything they think is true. Now, you know some of these people. None of us, present company excluded, all of us are way too smart, good looking, and humble to do that. But you know people in the world, you probably have seen them on the news, and they think that everything that they think is true. And any opposition to that is just simply dismissed by them. Now, if you're part of this group, you probably have gotten to the point where you're beginning to differentiate between the true and the false. And you do actually recognize an objective truth to the universe, and that occasionally what I think may not be true. Now, if I'm thinking something that isn't true, shouldn't I be persecuted for that? Shouldn't there be persecutions of myself, within myself? One time I had a spiritual teacher, he goes, "You know why you feel guilty all the time, Greg? Because you are." Now, he was a bit of a dick, so to speak, but he was an important teacher because we have a conscience for a reason, and it's beginning to help us differentiate the true from the false. And this means in any given moment, in any given day, there'll be persecutions between the part of my mind that wants to lie to me and says, really, you should have another Haagen-Dazs bar, or that person that hurt you a long time ago, they really should, really should smite them. There's there's a trillion ways to be false, but generally there's one way to be true, and this is the discernment. These are the battlegrounds. This is the these are these persecutions of self. Now, what does this lead to? Well, no one likes it, but it says in that line that all the prophets, what does it mean by prophets? All the ones that went out in this consciousness battlefield of becoming our highest self, which is clearly what we're here to do, self-realization. All the prophets that have come before have fought this battle between the true and the false, and no one's immune. We all get to play it, and yet the better we get at it, the more discerning, the more surgical, the more precise we get in the ability of our conscience to give us skillful moment to moment course correction, the more we operate in the truth all the time. What's the benefit of operating in the truth at least more of the time? Things have to go better. Couldn't we agree that almost all inharmony, if not all of it, is based on somehow living in the false rather than the true? And that a loving higher power, God love source, has placed us in a universe and given us a perfect internal gravity that tells us the higher from the lower, and that by doing that, we can live in more and more harmonious conditions. Well, how long can we do that? Forever, because there's no end to the upward limit of where this takes us, because there's no downward limit to where the persecutions take us, except for our conscience, which mercifully tells us when we're operating inharmoniously with the universe. That mosquito hawk really got me. Anyway, Looney should be pouncing shortly. Have a beautiful day. Look forward to hearing what you guys have to say on this on Friday, and enjoy the beautiful spring weather.